Representative Al Green just shouted out during a State of the Union address, Trump's 2025 address, and basically complained during the address that he was cutting Medicaid into the ground, which is what happened if Republicans have their way. If the budget resolution is passed, which it looks like it's going to be, Medicaid is done for pretty much. He was escorted out, unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene when she shouted out at the State of the Union. We'll listen to what she had to say in a second, but listen to what Al Green said after being escorted out.
So what were you shouting to the president?
The president said he had a mandate, and I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts in Medicaid. He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need.
Bro, what is happening with these people in the background? Look at their faces. I guess they're supposed to be like, what, the police or whatever? Capitol Police, Sergeant at Arms, I don't know. What is happening? Some serious shit is going on. Did they find like a ferret in like running the halls of Congress or something? By the way, YouTube algorithm has completely disfavored me. I'd really appreciate it if you watch my videos to the end. It gives my videos a massive algorithmic boost. Also check out my books, owenmorgan.com.
He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. There's a possibility that it's going to be hurt.
Yeah. So the point is that they're absolutely cutting Medicaid into the ground. And he was absolutely correct in what he said. He was kicked out. Now, this is not the first time. We'll take a look at him being kicked out in a second. This is not the first time by any stretch of the imagination that congressmen have screamed out during State of the Union addresses.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
They're booing. They're booing at this. They are literally doing it within the first 2 months of controlling the government, the House, the Senate, the presidency. They did it. Here we sit on the other side, and they've done it. They're cutting Medicaid into the ground.
Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy.
Look at her. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene like a howler monkey back there yelling.
Give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you,
she just yelled out liar at him.
I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant.
By the way, this is 2022 State of the Union with Joe Biden.
Because that's what Joe Biden is. I will tell you one thing Joe Biden did lie about. He didn't know what he was talking about a lot of the time, but he did frankly lie, talking about Republicans and Social Security and Medicare. We have not talked about cutting Social Security and Medicare.
Yes, they have. Republicans did, and she did specifically.
Joe Biden has been claiming that we're going to cut Social Security and Medicare, but we're not. So we called him out on the House floor. I called him a liar because that's what Joe Biden is. Either he doesn't know what he's talking about or he's just flat out lying.
Here we are on the other side. We can see how absolutely absurd it is. I'd love to see what people have to say who defended her at the time. I'd love to see what they have to say now. These people are lying and claiming that everybody around them are the liars. You know, it wasn't always normal for people to scream out at this State of the Union until Donald Trump. Well, really until Marjorie Taylor Greene started doing it in 2021, 22, 23, 24. People really did not do that at all. In fact, it happened once before that I know of under Obama, and it was a big deal.
The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegal.
The dude yelled out, "You lie." And everybody booed him. Everybody was down on him. Joe Wilson, I think was his name. I forget. Look at Obama's face. Look at Biden's face. Everyone is like shocked that somebody did this. Anyway, people just didn't do that. They just did not do that. Senators, congressmen, there was a decorum expectation when you're sitting there for the State of the Union address. You're not allowed in there unless you're somebody very important, like a senator or a congressman or something. Here's a picture of Marjorie Taylor Greene yelling out like a howler monkey. Here's another example of Marjorie Taylor Greene screeching out in the middle of this destroying any semblance of respect or decorum or honesty.
I'd be a winner. Not really.
There you go.
Lincoln Riley.
So anyway, he goes on to say he cares about
an
it.
innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
But, you know, the most important part about this, pay attention to what Mike Johnson's doing in the background there right now. See what he's doing? Sitting there looking like he's just smoked a pound of weed. What was he up to during Al Green's outburst, I wonder?
From the chamber.
I believe this is a sergeant at arms.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the sergeant at arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
They seem to be happy about this, enjoying it. Wow, J.D. Vance is really tall, or Mike Johnson is really short, or J.D. Vance has a stool he's standing on, or a couch or something? Did he bring his couch with him? Regarding Al Green shouting out during the State of the Union, I don't actually believe in disrupting the State of the Union like that. I think that it erodes public discourse to a degree that is deeply harmful. However, we are now in a fascist dictatorship for all intents and purposes, and I don't know what else to do here. I don't know how else to deal with this. I'm at a loss. Marjorie Taylor Greene was the first one to completely erode public discourse, public decorum, and just say the most vile, disgusting, racist shit she could possibly say. Biden was in the middle of his State of the Union talking about toxic burn pits that people were exposed to in the military, including his son, Major Beau Biden, who got brain cancer and died. I remember when this happened. Obama was the president still.
Jet fuel and so much more. And they come home. Many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world. Never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness. A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Beau Biden.
He's literally talking about his son who just died. And Marjorie Taylor Greene shouts out some stupid shit about some stupid political propaganda that was happening in that moment. Absolutely vile, disgusting shit. Anyway, in 2023, I believe, she talked about shouting out during the State of the Union about Medicaid and how it's not going to be cut and all that other stuff.
Democrats have to scare their voters once again. I haven't been to any of these meetings, Dan, where Republicans have been talking about cutting spending out of Social Security or Medicare. And
she was lying. She's just lying. She's flat out lying, obviously. Because now here we are on the other side with Medicaid just going away pretty much.
the reason why is because it's not happening. So the Democrats need to stop lying to the American people. You heard Speaker McCarthy right there on that video. He said Medicare and Social Security are off the table. But I will tell you what's on the table. Every single organization, every single...
Well, anyway, she picked one person saying one individual thing at one moment in time and used that as the rule when it was the exception. He was obviously giving them a soundbite so they could use it to come on shows like this and say, we're not doing that, it's not happening. Well, when they gained power, they did it. They hold the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and the Supreme Court. And 2 months in, they did it. So let's listen to Al Green in his interruption during the State of the Union.
1 month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House, to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
I would have had him drag me out. Let's see how that looks. Again, like, I don't know what to do in this situation. We are in a fully fascist government now, and he is doing things that he's not entitled to do. 1 out of 536 congressmen standing up and protesting. 1. Additionally, if we were to fall into a fascist dictatorship, our right to protest that fascist dictatorship should be preserved, right? I mean, imagine if this was a Democrat up here giving the State of the Union, and it's a Republican down here in the well or whatever, protesting. Should they be removed? Trump supporters should say no, they shouldn't be removed, seems to me. So, this guy's got an apple bag the size of Texas, though, I gotta be honest. And that's apt because he's from Texas.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Fascist dictators hate protest. I don't know why, but I've come to find that that's the case. Hitler crushed dissent as hard as he possibly could. Destroy protest. I think it's because they don't want anybody in the country to know that there's dissent or disagreement. They want everyone to get the impression that there's complete alignment, ideological alignment. Here you go. This is a tweet from Trump. All federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Complete and total violation of the First Amendment in every way, shape, and form. This isn't even like, this isn't like a Trump supporter saying, oh, my free speech. Oh, I can't speak because I'm a Nazi and people are yelling at me when I throw up a Hitler salute. That's not what this is. This is literally the federal government imposing consequences on people for simply protest. Simply protest. Nothing more. They're not getting violent. He didn't even say they needed to be violent. He said, if they protest at a college campus, we will withhold federal funding. Fascists don't like protest. Your ass better be out there doing it, is my point.